Hello everyone, welcome again in Eng-Man YouTube channel. So in this video, we will continue our quick knowledge video and still about carbon capture utilization and storage. So it's QK quick knowledge about CCUS. And in this particular video, we will be talking about aquifer characterization for CO2 storage. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I take this very good table from this very good source, CO2 Storage Atlas, and this is the study area Norwegian North Sea by Norwegian Petroleum Directorate. Okay, so this table is about aquifer characterization, and you can see here, you can read it together with me, characterization of aquifers and structures. And you see here we have some criteria: reservoir quality, sealing quality, and other leak risk, and also data coverage. All right. And you can see here, so you can follow me. All right. This is the aquifer characterization, the aquifer that will be used as CO2 storage. All right. So for reservoir quality, we can break down this criteria into two child criteria. The first one is the capacity or commuting volumes. And the second one is the injectivity. We are quite familiar with these two, capacity and injectivity. And you can see here the grades. Number one means very low, it's not very good. Number two means, medium. And number three means it's good. Okay. It's good if it gets three. Okay. So you can follow me. We can start with capacity. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so for capacity, number one is dominant low values, low capacity, or at least one score close to unacceptable. So you will give them value of one. And number two, value of two. Medium means low estimated volume or low score in some factors. And good, three, large calculated volume, dominant high scores in checklist. Okay, so it's basic, it's very easy, it's no-brainer. If you have large calculated volume, it means you will have high, large CO2 capacity, CO2 storage capacity. And second criteria for this reservoir quality is injectivity. And of course, you will get low value if you have the low value of the product of permeability thickness, and then medium permeability thickness, and you will get good score 3 if you have high value of the product of permeability and thickness. Okay, so the product of permeability thickness of your CO2 storage of this aquifer will represent the injectivity, how easy you can inject the CO2 from surface to the subsurface. Okay, so that's for reservoir quality. But reservoir quality alone is not enough. You need to also address, you need to also characterize, evaluate the sealing quality. And we can distinguish two items here. The first one is the seal itself. And the second one, which is very important, is whether or not we have fracture in the cap rock, in the seal. Okay, so let's see the seal. You will get low score if sealing layer with uncertain properties. You will get low scores in the checklist. Okay, so basically if you're still in production, okay, most of the time you will not have, you know, sophisticated information or high amount of data information regarding the seal. And if you are in that case, you will get low score. If you want to convert your aquifer into a CO2 storage, then you need to characterize the sealing layer, the seal rock, the cap rock. You will need to, you know, characterize, quantify the permeability, thickness, porosity, and so on and so forth. And you will get medium score if you have at least one sealing layer with acceptable properties. And if you have good sealing shale, dominant high scores in checklists you will get. You will get grade of 3, score of 3. Okay. What does it mean by good sealing shale? Of course, it will have low permeability, it will have high thickness. It will be thick and it will be tight. Then you will have good seal. But that's not enough. You need to also characterize the fracture of the seal. You will get poor score if you, yeah, of course, low scores in checklists. If you have, fractures here and there. You will get 2 if you have insignificant fractures. Either it is, natural fracture or the fracture because of well operation, injection or production. And if you have, no fracture at all, which is good, then you will have dominant high scores in checklists. And what other leak risk? Of course, the other source of leak is the well itself. So you need to characterize the well. You will get low score if possible leaking wells, which needs evaluation. Second, wells penetrating seal, no leakage documented, you will get score 2. But number 3, no previous drilling in the reservoir, safe plugging of wells. So basically, if you have reservoir, but you still do not penetrate the aquifer, you still haven't penetrated the caprock, the seal of the aquifer, then basically you will get score 3 for your aquifer in this well criteria. Okay, but if you have reservoir and then below the reservoir is the seal and then below the seal is the aquifer to which you will inject your CO2 and the wells penetrate the caprock of the caprock of the aquifer, then you need to be careful. You will not get, you won't get score of 3 because now the seal is penetrated by the well. Okay, so, and the next criteria is data coverage, of course. Okay, you will get good data coverage or limited data coverage or poor data coverage. Okay, let me zoom in. Okay, good data coverage if you have 3D seismic and wells through the actual aquifer or structure. Of course, because if you have wells through the actual aquifer, it means that you can do logging. Okay, maybe you can have cores from the aquifer, then you will have good data basically. But again, if you have wells through the aquifer, wells penetrating the caprock of the aquifer, then you need to be careful in this, well criteria. Okay? And limited. If you have 2D seismic, 3D seismic, but not for all the reservoir, only in some areas, and you have wells through equivalent geological formations, not necessarily the aquifer itself. Okay? And if you have only 2D seismic and sparse data, of course, you will have poor score, poor data coverage. Okay, so that's our table. And one last thing, other factors, which is how easy or how difficult to prepare for monitoring and intervention. So basically you need to ask the engineer that will handle the data, that will handle the monitoring and intervention, and whether or not there is a need for pressure relief, and whether or not there is possibility to support for your project and or potential for conflicts with future petroleum activity. So there are, other factors that you also need to consider if you want to convert the aquifer, your deep saline aquifer, to BCO2 storage. Okay, so yep, I think that's all. So in this video, we have reviewed this a very good table from CO2 storage atlas, and this is about aquifer characterization, aquifer that will be used for CO2 storage. Okay, so I think that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video is useful. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again in the next Eng-Man videos. Thank you.